Hello everyone. Welcome back to this channel. On this occasion, we'll once again be discussing several leaks that I managed to find and that I think are quite interesting to talk about. As usual, this information comes from several fairly credible sources. Alright, without further delay, let's jump straight into the discussion. Okay, so today's topic will be Pom Pom AI, starting from what Pom Pom AI actually is, to the features it offers. This time, the main source of information comes from Seal Leaks in Chinese, which was then translated into English by Galaxy Leaks to make it easier to understand. Pom Pom AI is an AI-based assistant system introduced by HoYoverse to help trailblazers in Honkai starrail. In the post, it was mentioned that trailblazers are now invited to try Pom Pom Assistant Beta via the chat box in the lower left corner of the screen. In other words, this feature is directly integrated into the game's interface, so players don't need to exit the game or open a separate menu to access it. Pom Pom Assistant is designed as a multifunctional assistant that can help players with various aspects of the game, ranging from character development to simply accompanying players for casual conversations. However, before we go further, running out of Stellar Jade in Honkai starrail? Don't worry, there's a more budget-friendly solution. Now you can top up in-game safely, quickly, and at a lower price through U7 Buy. And it's not just Honkai starrail, other games are available too, all in one place. Still not sure? No problem. You can check U7 Buy's reviews directly on Trustpilot, so it's transparent and trustworthy. For comparison, 80 oniric shards cost around $100 in the official store, but on U7 Buy, it's much cheaper. The process is also instant. Just select your server, enter your UID, and the balance is delivered straight to your account, no hassle. Don't forget to use code BOOM for a 5% discount. And if you spend $80 per month on U7 Buy, you can even get the Express Supply Pass for just 1 cent. Yeah, it's basically free. Click the link in my description or pinned comment to visit U7 Buy. Okay, let's continue. Specifically, Pom Pom Assistant Beta offers several main features: character development guidance, where players can ask how to build certain characters, including recommendations for leveling, traces, and suggested stat priorities. Team composition recommendations, allowing players to request team suggestions based on specific characters or playstyles. Story discussions, where players can ask about lore, world building, or story details they may not fully understand. Quick navigation to material farming, designed to help players easily find locations or content needed to farm specific materials. Lastly, Pom Pom Assistant also supports casual daily chats, letting players interact with Pom Pom as if chatting with a character aboard the Astral Express. That said, since this feature is still in the beta stage, HoYoverse has openly communicated several important limitations. If players feel dissatisfied with Pom Pom's answers, or find responses that are inaccurate or inappropriate, they can press the dislike button below the Pom Pom beta chat window or submit more detailed feedback. This shows that Pom Pom AI is still in a learning phase and heavily depends on feedback from the community. Additionally, it's important to note that Pom Pom Assistant's knowledge base currently only covers content up to Honkai starrail version 3.8. This means that if players ask about content beyond that version, Pom Pom will likely be unable to answer or may even provide incorrect responses. Furthermore, Pom Pom Beta does not have access to player account data, such as owned characters, relic details, or current team setups. As a result, all recommendations are general in nature and not fully personalized. To help players understand how to use Pom Pom Assistant, several example interaction scenarios were also provided. First, players can select a character whose build is not yet optimal and ask how to improve that character, including what materials to farm and what team compositions are recommended. Second, players can revisit the Amphiria's storyline and ask about lore details or world settings they didn't fully understand. Third, players can treat Pom Pom as a best friend aboard the Astral Express, chatting casually, joking around, or even saying things that might make Pom Pom unhappy, just to see how the AI reacts. Interestingly, several Pom Pom AI conversation examples circulating on Weibo show that this feature is still far from perfect. One example is when Pom Pom was asked, "How many core flames does Feinon have in his body?" Pom Pom answered that Feinon can gain at most 15 core flames, accumulating 12 to activate his burst and 3 more to gain buffs before bursting. When corrected that the number should actually be 400 million core flames, Pom Pom admitted the mistake and revised its answer. Well, Pom Pom wasn't exactly wrong. It answered from a gameplay perspective, not from the lore perspective. Another interesting example is when Pom Pom was asked about the strongest teams in the current version. Pom Pom replied that the Feinon team and Remembrance team are currently the strongest teams. And honestly, that answer is fairly relevant, and many of you would probably agree with Pom Pom on this one. However, there are also responses that feel unintentionally funny. For example, when asked for recommendations for a break team, Pom Pom suggested physical and wind characters like Firefly and Ruan Mei, then paired them with DPS characters like Dan Heng. After seeing this, it's clear that we shouldn't place too much trust in Pom Pom's team recommendations just yet. Well, it is still in beta, so Pom Pom's team suggestions clearly need a lot more refinement. There are also several other conversations that you can see for yourselves in the images I've shown. From all the available information and interaction examples, we can conclude that Pom Pom Assistant Beta is an interesting first step by Hoyoverse in integrating AI into Honkai starrail. This feature has strong potential as an in-game assistant and might help fill some of your time during quieter or dead patches like the current one. Alright, that's all for today's discussion. So, what do you think about the presence of Pom Pom AI in Honkai starrail? Do you see it as a useful feature, or just an early-stage gimmick? Please write your thoughts, opinions, and speculations in the comments. Don't forget to share this information with your friends who also play Honkai starrail. And make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future discussions and important updates. See you in the next discussion.